The astronomical diaries give us dozens of absolute dates that lock Nebuchadnezzar's reign in place, as well as those of his predecessors. We cannot move back his reign a year, much less the 20 years that would be needed for his 18th year to be 607 BC. However compelling the astronomical diaries, we do not rely on these as our only source of evidence. In fact, let us put those out of our mind for now. Let us imagine tablets like VAT 4956 and LVAT 1420 don't even factor into the discussion, and we will take the agreed-upon fall of Babylon in 539 BC as a given. Can we still confirm the kings of the Neo-Babylonian dynasty and how long each reigned? Can we still calculate back to Nebuchadnezzar's 18th year? The established Neo-Babylonian dynasty are the following kings: Nabopolassar, who ruled for 21 years; Nebuchadnezzar, who ruled for 43; Amel-Marduk, who ruled for 2; Nergal-sharezer, who ruled for 4 years; Labashi-Marduk, who ruled 0 regnal years, since he died in his accession year; Nabonidus, who ruled for 17. When we calculate backwards from Nabonidus, we find that from the last year of Nabonidus to the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar was about 48 years. If we subtract 48 years from 539 BC, which is when Babylon fell, we come to the year 587 BC. So counting back from Nabonidus, the last king of Babylon, we can derive Nebuchadnezzar's 18th year, as well as the date of Jerusalem's destruction. But how can we be sure of what kings ruled Babylon and for how long? We do this by turning to the cuneiform business tablets from that time. If there is one thing people get dead serious about, it's business and money. And human nature hasn't changed in the last 2,500 years. In ancient Babylon, when a transaction occurred, like today, records are made. These transactions were dated to the month, day, and year of the ruling king. Let us take, for an example, a typical economic tablet, now housed in a British museum. It details the transaction of a transfer of gold to a temple. It details how much gold, who was giving the gold, who transferred it, and where it was sent. It adds other details that make this transaction official. More importantly, the transaction is dated to the 10th year of Nebuchadnezzar, to month 11 and the 18th day of the month. By itself, it tells us that Nebuchadnezzar ruled up until at least his 10th year. Of course, we know that he ruled 43 years. How do we know this? Because there are thousands of economic tablets just like this that are timestamped with the month, day, and the year of Nebuchadnezzar's rule. We also have thousands upon thousands of economic tablets for the other rulers of the Neo-Babylonian dynasty, such as his father Nabopolassar, his son Amel-Marduk, and the kings that succeeded him, Nergal-sharezer, Labashi-Marduk, and Nabonidus. For each of these kings, every year of their rule is represented by an abundance of economic tablets with an unmistakable timestamp. When accumulated, these give us a clear picture of who ruled and when. For 607 BC to be Nebuchadnezzar's 18th year, we would have to move his reign back 20 years, and this would open up a 20-year gap in the entire Neo-Babylonian dynasty. There would have to be other kings unknown to us, or the kings we know would have to rule longer than history records, or both. However, the many thousands of economic tablets do not allow us to lengthen the years of the reigns of any of these kings, nor insert any sort of mystery ruler into the timeline. Imagine during a trial the prosecution presented 10,000 transactions that showed where the suspect was and when, and from this placed the suspect at the scene of the crime at the time the crime occurred, as well as the timeline leading up to the event and what followed. It would be an open and shut case. Such is the case when taking into account the economic tablets of ancient Babylon. Those who support the 607 BC date do acknowledge that the economic tablets support the conventional chronology, And a footnote they omit: business tablets exist for all the years traditionally attributed to the Neo-Babylonian kings. When the years that these kings ruled are totaled, and a calculation is made back from the last Neo-Babylonian king, Nabonidus, the date reached for the destruction of Jerusalem is 587 BCE. In an effort to refute the thousands upon thousands of economic tablets that establish each year of each king, focus is given on a handful of anomalies that seem to show an overlap between some of these kings and their successor. It is important to note, however, that none of these discrepancies are with the year of the reigning king, only with the day or the month. Some of these anomalies prove to be mistranslations or misreadings. Some prove to be scribal errors, comparable to us accidentally writing down the wrong month or day when we are writing a check. Some of this overlap is because news took much longer to travel back then compared to our modern era of almost instantaneous communication. In the case of Nabonidus, his rule did overlap that of the king he was overthrowing, Labashi-Marduk. Again, these anomalies number in the dozens, as compared to the nearly 10,000 tablets that prove the established chronology. None of these show any mystery kings, or any additional years to the timeline. In fact, an overlap cannot add any years. It could only shorten the timeline. But since these anomalies involve the last regnal year of the outgoing king, overlapping weeks or months into the accession year of the next, the timeline remains unaffected. Thousands upon thousands of economic tablets have been uncovered at multiple locations in ancient Babylon. These tablets are not copies, but originals. The motivation of these scribes was to maintain accurate bookkeeping. Their economy depended on it. Tablets are found for each year of the 87 years of the Neo-Babylonian dynasty. If there was an extra king, who was he? Why is there not one document that lists their name? Or if the kings known to us ruled longer, why is there not one tablet that shows this? If these tablets are missing, why are they missing only at the ends of these kings' reigns? Why are there no missing years in the middle of their reigns? For these 20 missing years, nearly a fifth of the Neo-Babylonian dynasty, there would have to be thousands of documents missing as well from multiple locations. But in over 150 years of unearthing these economic tablets, not one tablet has shown up that can add even a year to the conventional chronology. Not only that, the thousands of economic tablets that have been found are in perfect harmony with the astronomical tablets. Together, these form a consistent picture that shows that Nebuchadnezzar's 18th year was 587 BC.